First brush that's really crucial is the eyeshadow brush. And this is just something that you can apply the eyeshadow on, but it's a two-in-one. Not only can you apply eyeshadow with this brush, but you can also blend with it because see how the shape is tapered, so it's easier to blend. The second brush that I really recommend that you have to have for this look too is a crease brush. A crease brush is basically a brush that tapers in like this, and it's really dense because basically the denser the brush, the more product you can start applying on. So this is perfect for creases because most of the product should be around the crease area. Third brush, right here. Third brush I recommend an angled brush, and the reason why I recommend an angled brush is because you can create lots of different looks with this, especially looks that have more definite shapes. Liner looks, cat eye looks. There's a lot of things that you can do with an angled brush. And last but not least, this is my favorite brush because I could do so much with this little guy. Just because it's little doesn't mean you can't show it a lot of love. This little guy right here is my favorite brush to use because I can do so much with it. I can smudge with it, I can apply a highlighter here and there, and I can just do like a lot of different designs with this brush. But on top of that, you also get a liner brush with it too. This is perfect for liquid liner. So these are just the brushes I really recommend. Again, you don't really have to use it, but for this demonstration, I'm going to be using brushes. Alright, so I like to start from light to dark, and the reason why I like starting from light to dark is because it's easier to build. When it comes to makeup, it's all about building. It's all about layering. It's all about building, going from light to dark. If you go dark to light, a lot of the times you can end up with really muddy looking colors. But whatever your comfort level is, just do whatever, but I'm going to go from light to dark. So the first color I'm going to use is this matte nude color. And the reason why I'm starting off with a matte color is because the texture is matte. So if I'm going to use a shimmering color after this, it's easier to blend. But if I used a shimmer first and then a matte, a lot of the times the textures, they can mix up a bit. So start from matte and then work your way to shimmer. So here we have a matte shadow. You want to, okay. So focusing right on your lid, apply this as a wash. And you guys have to remember, the first application, the first touch you do, that's where most of the product will end up. So I like going from the middle and working my way out. I like to work on the middle because that's where most of the product should be. Because this is the center of your eyes. See, just dab it on. Don't brush it right away, because if you brush it right away, flyaways will just start flying around. So you want to dab it on, like this, really gently, and then afterwards, then you can brush it. Back and forth, rainbow shape. All right, next step, take your crease brush, this little guy right here. You're going to take this brush and you're going to load it up with another matte color. Again, when you're contouring your eyes, if you're contouring anything, it's best to use a matte texture because when you go outside, a lot of the times it's not going to be a matte texture. The light's going to reflect it and it's going to look a little weird. It's not going to look as natural. I'm not saying deep plum purples are natural, but the texture itself is more natural against your skin texture. So using a matte color, load it up with the crease brush. Again, blot it on your hand. The reason why I like blotting is because I want to make sure that these little powder, little fallouts, it's not going to end up on the eye. And another way to avoid that is using a tissue like this and putting it right here and just holding it like that. To find your crease area, just take the back of your brush and start doing this. Locate your eye socket. Once you find your eye socket, that's where your crease should be. That's where you want to put all the definition. This is going to add more definition to your eyes because we're contouring it. We're adding more shadow. And we're going to elongate the shape of your eyes. And this is the word that I'm going to be using a lot in this demonstration is elongating. Because when you elongate the shape of your eyes will look bigger. Alright, so take this right here, the crease area, on it, and then just go back and forth, just a little bit like this. And if it's easier, sometimes when I tell people to apply eyeshadow, look down like this, so that way you can kind of see where you're going. I'm going to do that, and I'm going to see exactly where I'm putting everything. See where I located the socket? Just go back and forth. Also make sure the eyeshadow stops halfway. Don't bring it towards the inner part of the eye because once you do that, you're closing up the shape. If you leave it along the outer half, this will elongate the shape. So just blot it in like this and just start defining the shape. And stop where your brow ends, like right here. See where my brows the end right here. So you want to stop it there, because if you extend it over the brows, a lot of the times it might look a little weird. So I'm going to stop right where my brows end. And then I'm going to pull it back in. So I'm creating this arrow-like shape. Just practice on your hand. Get kind of like understand why each brush creates a certain shape. So see, with this crease brush, it's more defined. But with this fluffy brush, if I use the same color, see how it's much more airbrushed looking? So each brush has, I guess in a way, a certain style, a certain look. So I think educating and understand which brush to use will definitely help you along the process. But also, again, just experiment and try, just use your brush. And if you prefer to use your fingers, that's fine too. And it will definitely help in the long run when you want to start creating really elaborate looking looks. So take the color again with your crease, and we're going to bring it in right here. Stop halfway. Again, if you were to bring it all the way inside, a lot of the time it might close up your eyes. So stop halfway.
I have double lid eyes, but whenever I apply it, it always gets so messed up, smudged, and I get raccoon eyes at the end. So can you help me to teach? Can you teach me how to apply eyeshadows correctly?
A lot of the time when you're using cream liners, especially with this humid weather, it tends to crease. I recommend either using powder or a liquid liner. Or if you really like using your gel or your cream liners or cream eyeshadow, try to use a primer first and then apply the cream or gel based eyeshadow or liner, whatever you're using, and then afterwards seal it with powder so it doesn't move around and budge around as much. Alright, so now that we have this shape, create this edge again, but don't make it too sharp. You kind of want it a little smoky. That's why I'm using this brush instead of an angled liner brush. If you want it more edgy, use an angled liner brush instead. Now we can actually apply the pop of color. Pop of colors, usually when you're doing an eyeshadow, like if you want to add a pop of color, it's basically the color that is the most vibrant, that's the accent color. So the pop of color that we're using can be anything. I'm actually going to use this combination of this lilac color with this purple color. We're cleaning it off because I had a lot of the black, the deep plum eyeshadow on this brush, and if I were to just put this on and apply it on, it might look a little muddy. So clean it off just a bit. And using the lighter shade first, load it up on your brush, back of your hand, or get here, apply away. And this corner right here, I'm going to apply this color, because you're going to start seeing it come to life. This is a great way to subtly wear color without going too crazy. Puffy eyes, gosh, I mean, there's so many reasons why one might have puffy eyes. Sometimes you're not sleeping enough, or maybe sometimes you're eating too much sodium, and when you're drinking water, it's the sodium is retaining the water. I actually recommend using a caffeine scrub on your face to reduce the excess water weight. That actually helps really well. You can just use coffee grains whenever you make your coffee in the morning. Just apply it on your face and just scrub it in, and you'll notice the water weight just starts reducing. Really, really helpful. I like taking cold spoons, like 2 cold spoons, and I like to put it on my eyes, like frozen spoons. And you're going to notice right away the blood is circulating, and you're going to get more blood circulation to your eyes, and it's going to depuff the eyes. And smoky eyes is a great look to actually avoid that puffiness, because if you're using highlighter along the inner corners of the eyes, it can actually accentuate the puffiness. Maybe watering the waterline with a black liner can actually give you that depuffed look. All right, now we're going to take this purple color. So load it up on your brush. Very nice. And just apply it right in here again. Keep building it up. All right, so you're going to take a shimmering color. I'm going to use this one right here. Use any shimmering color that works with your skin tone. And by doing so, you look at your wrist when you go outside, because you need natural lighting. And if you have green-looking veins, most likely you have a yellow skin tone. If you have blue-looking veins, you have a cooler skin tone, more of a pink tone. And once you've established that, then you can realize what eyeshadow or what lip color works best for you. If you have a more yellow undertone, you want to stick with colors that are more golden. If you have a cooler undertone, you want to stick with colors that are more... Okay, so with this color, load it up. And we're going to apply this right here, inner part of the eye, the center. Load up most of it on here, and then fade it away. I recommend using primer. Eyeshadow primer is great product to use just because it helps control oil or excess sebum, but most importantly, it's almost like glue. So the eyeshadow, the pigments, the powder will actually stick onto the product better, and it's not going to budge around as much. I've noticed that when I'm staying here in Singapore, I notice that everything is, when you walk outside, it's so humid. My hair starts going up, it starts frizzing up, and my eyeshadow and my makeup is melting. And I notice whenever I'm using products that has a silicone base, it's going to last a bit longer, it's not going to budge around as much, and it's going to help control excess oil production. With a small brush, this little guy right here, load it up with the shimmering color, and we're going to focus along the inner corner of the eyes. And then fade it out here. So take this color again, clean off your brush, and take this color. This is the last eyeshadow step. And we're just going to reapply this along the lower lash line. I love using liquid liner just because it's a great way to change the look of your eyes. You can really accentuate the shape and really change the silhouette. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to create a cat liner and create little lashes on the upper and lower lash line. The easiest way to do liquid liner, I know, rest your hand on your cheek because this is going to help stabilize your hand so it doesn't shake around as much. And also this is going to reduce any errors. So look at your lower lash line and see how it is. And kind of draw an invisible line. Imagine an invisible line and follow it. Follow this line. So this is going up, and I'm going to go up right here. And stop at the top part of your lid. So draw this line. Then pull it in, and we're going to create this triangle shape. So close your eyes and stop halfway. The reason why I stopped halfway again is because I'm elongating the shape of my eyes. If I were to pull it all the way inside here, it would actually make my eyes look exact opposite of Dolly eyes. It would look smaller, but it will look sexier, so that's a completely different look. So I'm stopping halfway, because it should be thicker along the outer edge, and it should taper in. Just fill it in. Now, just very, very thinly, create a really thin line, just to connect. Really thin. This is a really nice liner because you can create thick and thin lines really easy. So now this is the fun part. Now you can draw little lashes. I'm going to start right here. Just use the point like this and just pull it in. And taper it out again. Now the lower lash line, just create small little dashes. Little, kind of like what you see there, but smaller. We're creating smaller lower lashes. And I'm going to use this, just the point of my, got it. So take your lash curler, and this is when you curl your lashes and finish off with mascara. I recommend using a waterproof mascara because it holds an Asian curl better. It's kind of like hairspraying it in. The reason why is because it's a drier formula and it has more of a waxy texture. So if you're going outside with a humid climate and you were to use a non-waterproof mascara, a lot of the time it droops down and it starts flaking. Then you start getting those sexy raccoon eyes. Opposite of Dolly eyes, right? We don't want that, so stick with waterproof formulas. And I know a lot of girls, they always tell me that the reason why they don't like using waterproof mascaras is because it's so hard to remove. You just have to use an oil-based makeup remover. Something like Lancôme's Bifacil. This is an oil-based makeup remover. You just shake it and put it on a cotton pad. Let it soak on your eyes for 2 seconds and wipe away. And seriously, the waterproof mascara just melts right off. And just finish off with mascara. Just apply a generous amount of lash conditioning products that you can use. Your lashes are kind of like, it's like no different than your hair. You want to condition your lashes, and whenever we're using products like lots of mascaras, it can dry out your lashes, and it can really, I notice like whenever I don't use a lot of mascaras, I do this thing called mascara diet, where I don't use mascaras for like a week. And I notice my lashes are growing a little better and everything. So kind of take a break from using mascaras and eating really good, healthy food. I know it's cliche, but if you take vitamins and you eat really healthy food, your lashes will be stronger. But again, taking care of your lashes, removing mascara too every night because you can't sleep with them on. And using an oil-based product to remove every single bit of mascara. That way the oil will condition the lashes, kind of like conditioning your hair.
Thank you.